Okay, welcome back to the channel. It's Steve. This is our sustainable journey, and we have Steph.
Hi.
And today we are going to talk about changes we're making on the farm. So 10 acres in the middle of nowhere that used to be an alpaca farm, they probably had 20 or 30 alpaca, I think. Well, alpaca poop. And so we have big old piles of poop that is now like fully composted down. But we want to move the compost pile to a little bit further away from everything else. I mean, right here is really convenient because our garden is like right behind us. But we're going to move that. So that's one of our projects this summer. We've ordered a tractor that should be showing up soon, probably in a couple of weeks, I think. And then we can move this stuff because there's no way I'm moving it by hand. So that's one project that we're going to be doing this summer. The other, if you remember the last video, you saw the barbed wire. We found about 30 feet or so of barbed wire in the woods. So we're going to be pulling that out as well so that it's not where our kids play, because they're going to hurt themselves. All right, so one of the things we're going to be adding this summer are chickens. And so we have ourselves the coop, but it needs some work. So this nesting boxes, so what happened with the lid is the roof didn't quite cover the top of the nesting boxes, and so we're going to need to change that up. And then if you go inside, and the chickens aren't going to care, but we need to fix some insulation things, clean it up in here a little bit. There's giant spiders. Kidding, it's not real. And probably, yeah, just give it a once over with the power washer. Make sure that there's nothing else living in here besides the chickens that we want to keep. And then we're going to need to put in some fencing around it to make sure that they're protected from any predators in the area.
Fresh coat of paint.
And a fresh coat of paint. It definitely needs a fresh coat of paint. You see some of the paint is not doing so well, but and then we need to fix the barrier around the bottom, because with chickens you want to make sure that nothing can get in from any angle at night, because predators are known to come in and kill them in the night. So that's awesome. Next is what they called the she shed. We're gonna change it into like a little store on the property. Okay, so it's a little shed with a porch, and it's reddish pinkish, hence the she shed. And it was kind of the crafty area for everything, but it's kind of fallen into disrepair a little bit. So it just needs some new stain, paint, coat of paint, a little bit of work, a little bit of repair work. And then there's this giant tree that's directly next to it, which I need to take down. And then you can see that board around the outside, which did a okay job for a while to keep out the predators, but then there was something that is living under there. I think it's a giant woodchuck of some sorts. But yeah, so there's just some wood that needs to be replaced that's rotting. So we'll be able to replace that, power wash it, paint it, and that'll be project number 3 for this summer. Okay, the other thing that we're planning on doing this summer is adding alpaca to the farm, and alpaca need a building. And so this building is the one that they've used in the past for this very thing, and there's some damage there to it that will need to get fixed. I don't know if this window's bad. I know the other window's bad. I'll show you on the inside. So it's just a lean-to, just something to protect them from the elements. But like this window isn't held in place. This will actually pop out if I were to put forth a little bit of effort. And I know this because I have popped it out with a little bit of effort. And then, you know, there's mud wasps and things, but those will just pop right out. And it's not like those are really a big problem. But there's a lot of them. You can see them in the corners there. They're pretty much everywhere. So we'll just need to clean it up a little bit, and then it'll be ready to go for them. It's a little low for me, but I'm not an alpaca. So yeah, this just needs a fresh coat of stain and some paint. Oh, maybe some replaced board. Holy cow. Although part of that, I think, is some of the animals in the past would eat this. So you see, they've had goats and stuff, so they'll pretty much destroy anything you have. So yeah, that's project number 4, I think is what we're up to. Okay, so between our driveway and the house, there's this grove of trees. And some of them aren't doing so well. Some of them are dead. Some of them partially fell with some of the windstorms we've had lately. So we're gonna clear that out, and the idea is to put up some sort of ninja course for the kids. Maybe we'll fence it in so we can just leave them in there overnight or something. Kidding. And then they can have a place to play, because, you know, there's only 10 acres of woods that they can play in, but they need to be close to us at all times. All right, so that is project number 5-ish. And then coming into the driveway, you can see our well cap. So that's where it is. It's basically just a plastic tub with a little miniature outdoor smoker, stove, fireplace doodad on top of it, more as a reminder of, hey, don't drive your car into this, dummy. I would like to put something a little bit more building-esque on top of it so that it stands out a bit more, because this is just too tempting for people to turn around, because you see the driveway comes here, and this is the nature path that we have. And I drive on this thing, I just drive around it, but other people, you know, they might not realize that this is kind of an important piece of our land, is our well, and I don't really want them to hit it. So I want to build some sort of building or shed or something over top of that to make it a little bit more obvious that you probably shouldn't drive your car into it. So that's project number 389 B. Okay, another project. This is more of a fun little project, honestly, is my good friend and neighbor gets these IBC totes. These things are awesome. They are 300 gallon, 200 gallon,
125 gallon.
125 gallon. I was way out. I think the big ones are the 300 gallon or 275, something, I don't know. Doesn't matter. But what they are is they are a giant tub. This one has a little bit of leftover residue. It's just, I think it's sugar water or salt water that was in these, for when he's farming. And so we're going to use them to do various things around the property. Either one of them I'm going to make into a compost bin, and we're going to do some experiments with the worms and see what we can do with different types of compost and different styles, and see if we can use one for something like that. And I think it'll be fun to see what happens. We'll see. The other project is twofold. One, we need to insulate our shed. It's connected to the workshop through that door. So the workshop is heated. The shed, however, is not. So in the winter, it gets really cold in here, and all the heat from the workshop escapes into here. And so because the wall between them isn't insulated, so we want to just insulate this whole building. And at the same time, it has a gravel floor. And so we're going to cement that over, probably run some drain lines, run some electrical around the outlets, or add outlets around the outside. Change it because we only have, right now you can see we have one light, and and that is not enough light for this entire thing. Because it gets dark and scary in here. And, you know,
And add a water system. So
add a
you can
water
have water.
system so you can have a sink to wash up, maybe a toilet, probably not a toilet, but a sink to wash up, and get this building to be more cozy as far as sheds and workshops go. All right, one other project, kind of the main project, is we want to put an addition onto the house. So the unique aspect of the A-frame, we love it, and so we want to keep that alive in the addition. So we're planning on adding, basically extending one of the wings, because if you look at the property, the house is kind of a big plus sign, much like the Swiss flag. And so we want to extend this out, I don't know, 30 or 40 feet, which would be to like maybe here, I think. I don't know.
Come to about this tree here, straight
Yeah.
ahead.
So just a little bit, just to add a master suite, so we can get away from these kids. Wonder why we're doing that.
You can hear them and their beautiful
Oh, they're singing. So that way we can have a room away from them, so that there's, you know, we can split the bedroom that we're in right now into two, because it's too much space for just the two of us, so we can make 2 bedrooms out of it. And then there's a loft space so that we have the 3 bedrooms for the 3 girls. The most important project that we need to work on this year is this deer stand. It needs a lot of work. I didn't end up, I hunted from it, but I didn't get anything from it. So I want to improve it so that it's a little bit more comfortable.
And also take down the tree in the woods that's going through where the deer path was, because
Yes.
now they're having to cycle away from.
Yeah. Yeah. And while I'm out here, maybe we'll figure out what this concrete slab is. We know it was the foundation of a house that was here and burned down in the 70s, maybe prior to then. I don't know when. But I'm kind of curious of what else is under it, because why wouldn't you dig this up? This, you know, we keep telling the kids it's a grave, but we know it's a foundation. But it's a great big open area too, so we could always use it for something else too. So you can see like this whole area is pretty cool. So even if we put a little play area for the kids or something here, I don't know.
Right by the deer stand.
Right by the deer stand. No, the deer go behind it. You know, it's a great wide open area. So I think that's all of the major projects. A lot of maintenance things that need to happen with some of the equipment that we have. Some of the buildings that we have just need more maintenance stuff done to them. And so that'll be stuff that we're working on this summer. Last summer we spent most of it cutting up a tree. This giant oak lost half the side of it in the derecho last year. So that's how we spent every single waking moment. I think we ended up getting something like 7 cords of wood. It was a ridiculous amount of wood. I don't remember the total. But it was enough wood that we don't have to worry about wood for a while. So we're gonna spend this summer doing fun things like maintenance and painting and power washing and things and fixing up buildings. It'll be way more fun than cutting down a tree. So I think that'll be it for today. We'll see you all next time.